Beneath the infinite tapestry of the cosmos, where dimensions fold like velvet and the echoes of primordial creation still hum in the void, there exists a plane untouched by mortality. This is the interdimensional pantheon. The architecture here defies geometry, constructed from shattered celestial marble and obsidian glass, floating amidst a nebula that pulses with the light of dying stars. It is the silent judge of history, the final destination for beings who have conquered heaven and hell alike. Today, the air grows heavy with the scent of ozone and sulfur, for two titans have stepped into the arena. From the east comes Sun Wukong, the great sage equal to heaven. Born of a stone nurtured by the elements of heaven and earth, he is a monkey of legend, a trickster god whose staff has bruised the ego of every deity in the Jade Emperor's court. He is mischief incarnate, a being who transcended death by striking his name from the ledger of the underworld and consuming the peaches of immortality. He carries the Ryujin Wu Bang, a pillar of the ocean that shifts at his whim. His golden eyes peer through the veil of reality, seeing truth where others see only lies. Opposite him stands Lucifer, the morning star. Once the highest of the archangels, his pride became his crucible and his rebellion his legacy. He is the Prince of Darkness, a being of unmatched intellect and cosmic defiance. He does not merely possess power, he embodies the rebellion against the absolute. His essence is draped in shadows that swallow light, and his wings are not feathers, but shards of shattered grace. He is the master of temptation, the architect of fallibility, and the one who whispered defiance into the ears of the first humans. He carries no staff, he commands the very foundations of existence. The silence breaks. The nebula ripples as Wukong spins his staff, a blur of golden light that slices the darkness.
I have climbed the mountains of the gods and mocked the kings of the afterlife. You are but a fallen shadow, devil. Do you really believe your darkness can dim the brilliance of the great sage?
You speak of mountains and kings as if they are meaningful, little monkey. I have watched galaxies collapse and witnessed the birth of despair. You are a creature of folklore, a spark in a bottle. I am the void that remains when the lights go out. Prepare to find that some debts cannot be erased by cleverness.
Without a word, the battle erupts. Wukong vaults into the air, his body multiplying until 1,000 golden warriors swarm the arena. Each clone possesses the speed of a comet, converging on Lucifer with a cacophony of whistling iron. But Lucifer does not flinch. He spreads his wings, and the arena transforms. The ground liquefies into a sea of obsidian fire. The clones are snuffed out not by force, but by the cessation of their reality. Lucifer weaves through the chaos, his presence stripping the divinity from the air. Wukong lands, his eyes narrowing. He realizes this is no ordinary foe. He taps his temple and leaps, his staff elongating to the size of a mountain, crashing down upon the Prince of Darkness with the weight of 1,000 star systems. The impact creates a shockwave that shatters the floating ruins of the Pantheon. Lucifer catches the staff with a single hand, his skin glowing with a sickly, iridescent violet light. He forces the staff back, his grip searing the unbreakable metal.
Impressive force. But what is force against the entropy of the soul?
Lucifer vanishes, reappearing behind the sage. He casts a shroud of silence, a vacuum where sound and thought cease to function. He strikes with a blade of condensed malice, carving a wound across the sage's chest. Wukong, fueled by the rage of his primal origin, laughs. He shifts his form, turning into a giant, golden-furred ape, his roar shaking the foundations of the multiverse. He grabs Lucifer, swinging him through the fabric of space-time, tossing him across the constellations.
You are cold, fallen one. You have forgotten what it is to be alive. You have forgotten the heat of the hearth and the joy of the fight. You are a king of nothing, ruling over a kingdom of dust.
Wukong pulls a strand of his own hair, blowing on it. A storm of celestial wind erupts, turning every particle of debris into an arrow of light. The arena becomes a whirlpool of destruction. Lucifer, now wounded but eyes burning with a terrifying, ancient wisdom, begins to chant in a language that predates the stars. The very reality of the Pantheon begins to unravel. He is not fighting to win, he is fighting to erase the existence of his opponent. He opens a gateway, not to hell, but to the nothingness before creation.
You think your immortality is a shield? It is a cage. You are bound to the cycle of rebirth, to the suffering of your deeds. I offer you the freedom of the end. Stop struggling, sage. Embrace the silence of the absolute.
The two titans collide in the center of the void. Wukong's staff meets Lucifer's manifestation of pure entropy. The clash produces a flash so blinding it would render a mortal mind insane. Wukong uses his ability to traverse dimensions, flickering in and out of existence, trying to blindside the prince. But Lucifer's omniscience, a remnant of his angelic nature, anticipates every move, every shift, every heartbeat. Lucifer traps Wukong within a web of absolute darkness, paralyzing him. As Wukong strains against the weight of the dark, he realizes that Lucifer's power is a mirror. It relies on the opponent's own existence to exert pressure. Wukong stops fighting the dark. He becomes the light he consumed from the peaches of immortality. He radiates a solar flare of such intensity that it pierces the void, shattering Lucifer's web and throwing the devil back. The sage leaps, his staff crackling with the electricity of 1,000 storms. He delivers a blow that lands with the authority of the heavens themselves.
You seek the end, but you fail to see that existence is a cycle. You cannot destroy what is part of the great way.
Lucifer falls, his form flickering. He smiles, a tragic, broken expression. He knows that in this arena, he has pushed the sage further than any god or demon in history. But he has been bested by the sheer, chaotic vitality of the stone monkey. The monkey is the embodiment of life's refusal to be snuffed out. Lucifer collapses into shadow, scattering into the wind. The victor stands alone in the crumbling pantheon. Sun Wukong, battered, his golden fur singed, leans upon his staff. He looks out into the infinite, his breath steady. The Prince of Darkness was powerful, an intellect of cosmic proportions, but he lacked the one thing that defined the sage, the ability to transcend his own limits through sheer, indomitable spirit. Lucifer sought to impose order through the end of all things. Wukong thrived in the chaos of constant becoming. Logic dictates that while Lucifer possesses the power of archangelic rank and the corruption of the void, he is a being of stagnation, trapped by his own pride. Sun Wukong, however, is a force of nature that has evolved through the Buddhist, Taoist, and folk traditions to be essentially indestructible. He is the protagonist of his own reality, a trickster who outsmarts destiny. Lucifer fights with the weight of the past, Wukong fights with the momentum of the future. The sage wins, not because he is stronger in malice, but because he is unbound by the limitations of the abyss. The echoes of the battle fade, and the pantheon begins to stitch itself back together. The sage turns to look at you, the observer of this titanic clash. Did you enjoy this legendary duel of wits and power? If you found this clash as thrilling as the history of the gods themselves, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps the flames of our stories burning bright, allowing us to bring more epic confrontations from the myths of the world to your screen. Join our growing legion of history and mythology enthusiasts by clicking subscribe now. Delve deep into the mythologies of the East and West as these two legendary titans push the boundaries of reality in the interdimensional pantheon. Who stands supreme when the dust of the cosmos settles? Join us as we analyze their powers, origins, and philosophies to determine the true champion of gods. Experience a battle that transcends dimensions and redefines what it means to be a legend.